Alright, what's up guys? It's Mitch or Deity, and today it's a bit different of a video. We are going to be going over what I personally think are the 5 strongest units within Epic 7. So, it's my opinion. You can think differently. That's obviously most players are going to think differently depending on the playstyle you play. If you play tanks, I do not play tanks very often, but so I see tanks as very strong units. If you play tanks and you see other units as strong units, that's fine. Comment down below who you think your 5 strongest units in the game are, or 3. If you want to disagree with me, though, that's fine. That's perfectly normal. It's a PvP game that allows different playstyles. But the first unit I'm going to go over is Falconer Cleary. So Falconer Cleary is used by, I feel like, everyone and everything that people do. It can be used in a cleave style comp. It can be used in a regular tank style comp. She is a 3-star unit that everyone has access to. Triple S, full skill tree, 3-star use, so you can do her skill enhancements for free. If you're a player, if you're a newer player, Falconer Cleary is never a bad investment and never will be. And I don't think they'll ever change her in any capacity, just because they want a very, very strong unit that everyone can use. So mine, I currently have a 286 speed. I use her on low effectiveness because I don't go for high effect res units, but you can build her a little bit less speed with higher effectiveness, and you can go for your Ruels, Deannes, whatever you need to on turn 1, if that is what fits your playstyle better. But for me, I usually do not need effectiveness. So the number 69, obviously, it's a meme. So I got that. I don't think I'll ever change her gear. I think this is her gear forever, but got a little bit decent bulk, and she's just super good all around. So she is going to take my number 1 spot. These aren't like listed as like this is the best unit in the game. These are just like just the 5 different ones I think are top tier, basically. So it's not like Cleary's the number 1 best unit of the game. It's not what I'm saying, but she might be. She's definitely a good contender. So we're going to be looking at the second unit. I'm going to go over the units that I have first, and then there are 2 units that I do not have that I feel are super good, and it's probably because I always lose to them. So, secondly, we're going to go into Arbiter Vildred. Arbiter Vildred has had so many counters added to this game, and he still gets played every single time, because when Arby gets picked, you have to pick those counters, because if he procs Alexa's on greater attack buff, his damage scaling is just so insane. You have to play a certain way to stop him. So that's why people are starting to draft Arby later. Some people are starting to build him on counter set. On Moonlight Dreamblade, it's going to do a lot of damage. Moonlight Dreamblade gives attack buff, so that proc's going to be hitting even harder. You can bait some of the counters, such as Top Maluka, which is the main one people are starting to try to use now. If you're too tanky, Lulu can't kill you, and if you counter her, she gets knocked right out of her stealth before she even ends her turn, basically. So Arby is always going to be up there at the top. Alexa's Basket, Moonlight Dreamblade, 2 most used artifacts, obviously, on him. But it's just a flexible unit that allows you to do whatever. Same as Cleary. Cleary's turn cycling, survivability aspect she adds is something I should have noted, but it's, I mean, if you play the game very often, she cycles turns so fast with her CR pushing, she's going to heal more on your team the more she rotates her turns. You can put her on damage mitigation because she is a knight. Knights just have the best artifacts within the game. So the third unit, the last unit that I have that I would like to go over, is Fallen Cecilia. Fallen Cecilia you will see in Arena, you'll see in Guild Wars, you'll see in RTA. I mean, you don't really see her in PvE, but she could be used there for like safety, but people like doing PvE fast, so she doesn't get used in PvE too often, if at all. But for PvP, she's probably the best overall knight. There are others that are contenders that are starting to come up, but she's very anti-cleave. She gives that barrier at the beginning of the turn, makes it super annoying to deal with, and she gives a barrier every single turn. So she's basically Cleary, but isn't actually healing, but that barrier is going to give you a lot of survivability. So she's just a knight that just adds so much. Aureus is a common thing. Adamant can be used. I used to use Adamant because I use Seaside Bellona a lot. But high HP, she can also do a ton of damage because she is HP scaling, as most, if not all, knights are. So with higher HP, I guess Fighter Mine is defense scaling, but with high HP, and if you build some crit damage, crit chance, on like a little bit lower HP, you're going to hit super hard with her, especially into the squishy units because she is mostly an anti-cleave unit, but she can be used literally everywhere. One of the most picked units in RTA for sure. ML Crow is a runner-up that I would say. He's definitely up there, but I wouldn't call him my top 5. by any capacity. He when he first came out, I thought he was so busted and the most obnoxious unit. But as we've had more time to learn how to counterplay him, he's becoming less and less. But he's still an S tier unit. He's the top of the top, and as most knights just typically tend to be. So going into now the 2 units I do not have. So those are 3: Arbiter, Village, Cleary, Fallen Cecilia. The other 2 though, one I think a lot of you will debate me on, but we'll go with the simple, easy one first. It is a unit that I do not have, as I said before. It is Ambitious Tywin. So Ambitious Tywin, he's easily countered now, but because of all the immunity units in the game, immunity just shuts him down so heavily. A-Raz is a pretty good unit because if your main DPS doesn't get stunned or slowed, it's fine. But the biggest thing with him is he is anti-CC. He also kind of CCs himself. He provokes, he steals souls, and he also applies the strongest debuff in the game, in my opinion, which will also tie into the 5th unit, Decreased Speed. The stun, it's whatever, and this is on an 80% chance and can be used every 2 turns if you soul burn it. That's insane, because once you do this once, if you land the slow on the enemy, they're not going to get to move again. Decreased speed, slow, whatever. It's the strongest debuff, in my opinion, in any way, and whenever you stun them as well on top of this, that means their first turn, it's going to take them forever to get out of stun, and then they have to take 1 more rotation. If your A-Tywin's on any semblance of speed, you're going to take 2 turns. So, and then you're going to be back into a position where you rip this again, they're back slowed stunned. They're never going to get to move again. If A-Tywin goes against me and I don't have immunity, I'm going to lose the game. He used to be one of my main pre-ban units, but the soul stealing, I feel like that's like an undervalued thing. You put him on Holy Sack, he's versatile, you put him on damage mitigation, whichever works best for you. But the anti-CC, per turn, every single turn he takes, he can cleanse from every single ally. That's insane. It's just, he's just such a strong unit, and just in all capacity, and it's just most knights are. So, immunity is his biggest downfall, though. So, as we get more immunity units like ML Crow, he's starting to be less good, but he's still always going to be fantastic. So, the last unit, though, the one that I think might be a little bit questionable, some of you might disagree with me on, but Cerise. Cerise's new buffs made her just stupid. Guiding Light helps on top of that anyway, but she's super anti-CC, super anti-cleave. Putting slow on units is insane. Now that her S3 is element neutral, you can't even draft grass in an attempt to stop this. And then the stun, and then the dual attacks. Random ally. Always dual attack as long as the S3 is on cooldown. Those buffs were insane. She was already so good. She was one of, in my opinion, the strongest units before her buff. I don't know why they felt the need to give her a buff, but it's Epic 7. If instead of nerfing stuff, they'll just keep buffing everything until everything's overpowered. It's the way they like to use their game. It is what it is. But that's really all I have to say about her. She's just super good. The non-elemental disadvantage thing's honestly insane now. She's a good cleave initializer too, so you can use her in cleave or against cleave. Use her against any kind of tank comp if you get the slows and stuff. If they don't have any sort of cleanse, you should just be used against anything. No, she's a Moonlight character. They basically made her a Moonlight 5-star. And a very good one at that. So that is my last opinion. If you have any units you think are should be in like the top 5, then comment them down below. Ruel, I know a lot of people think should be up there. Some people are saying even ML Haste could fit up in that spot. LR Crow is one that people are like, it could be. But I still think ML Tywin's better than ML Crow in terms of just overall obnoxious to deal with, because ML Crow has the problem with if you put any kind of debuff on him, silence, unbuffable, kind of shuts him down pretty heavily. So Basar and Broman, great counters. Basar and Broman don't work that good against ML Tywin. So if you have any other things, put them down below. Like I said, just let me know at least 3 units maybe that you think, or if you agree with me on this list, that'd be cool. But if you watched this far in the video, if you're willing to subscribe or like and want to see other videos, I'd appreciate it. Mostly we do RTA content, but I'm starting to branch out into more stuff. If you like videos like this, I'm down to do more. Give me video ideas, that's fine. If you want to join the Discord, it's open to everybody. Feel free to hop in there. But it's been Mitch or Deity, and I will see you all in the next video. Have a good day.